What's good, friends? Ebony Chappelle checking in here with a little more positivity for your podcast listening and viewing pleasure. Shout out to everyone that is watching our podcast on YouTube. If you like watching people while they pod, this is an option for you. You can also listen anywhere you listen to podcasts as well. So it feels good to be here. We have a great show set up today for you. I'm going to be talking with singer-songwriter, and artist extraordinaire, Keiana Whatley. She is a dynamic woman. So I'm very, very excited for you guys to hear from her. So again, before we get started, be sure to like and subscribe. You can also connect with me on social at Ebony the Writer on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And check out my website, ebonychappelle.com, for more. I'm going to include all of those links in the show notes. So what's good? We know that What's Good is a show all about people doing good things and things that make us feel good. So what's been feeling good to me lately is reading. So growing up, I was a voracious reader. I was reading any and everything I could get my hands on. I also spent a lot of time on punishment. So that gave me a lot of time to really dig into books and just, exercise that part of my life. So right now, I've been diving in on the topic of love. Right now, I'm reading a few different books. One of them is All About Love by the late great Bell Hooks. Complete game changer. I'm going to talk about that one in a future podcast, maybe. But there's a lot that I have to digest there. So we're going to give that one a minute. Also, I've been reading The Five Love Languages, the singles edition by Gary Chapman. Those of you that are watching on YouTube, you can see me holding up the book. And it has been a game changer as well. So I'm still trying to suss out exactly what my personal love language is. But this book has helped me to start thinking in that frame of mind when it comes to my various relationships with my family members, people that I work with, my teammates, and also people that I may be, romantically interested in. There are no prospects right now. It's sis's line is dry, for a good purpose. I'm fine with that. It's definitely a thing that is good for me right now to be focusing on myself. But this book is a game changer. Now, a disclaimer: this shit is churchy as hell. That don't even make sense, when you think about those words in context. But y'all know what I mean. It's super churchy. It's corny at times, but there are many gems in it. And it's all about showing us how to be a more attentive and loving friend, relative, and partner. So I'm going to read for you guys a little bit from one of the chapters. And this is chapter 10, Dating Relationships Part 1, Love Languages and Your Special Someone. So at the end of each chapter, they have these lists of things to think about. So you work through these prompts and it helps to, reinforce the things that you just read about. So these questions really hit because I was like, man, I got some work to do. So it reads, as you reflect upon your present and past dating relationships, answer the following questions. Number one, to what degree did I view them as a person rather than an object? Something to think about. How well did I discover their personality, history, values, morals, and spiritual beliefs? Right there, we can pause because when I think about some of the dating scenarios I found myself in, rarely is this the type of conversation that people get into. I think maybe there's a little apprehension in the beginning to want to talk about those things. I love talking about this kind of stuff, honestly, because I feel like it helps you to know more about the person that you're dealing with, but it also takes a level of vulnerability and openness to want to do that, which is a whole nother topic for another day. Cause I know that that's something that people, struggle with. But anywho, Um, let's see. Here's another thing to think about. How well did I do in empathetic listening and in confronting weaknesses? Something to think about, So if you are a person that is wanting to level up and expand in that area of your life, I could not suggest the 5 love languages for singles. I couldn't suggest it more. It's just a huge game changer. Just taking those 3 questions alone, if you were just to take those 3 questions into your next dating scenario, I guarantee there's so much more that you can learn about that person and whether or not you guys are a compatible and good fit. Because it's one thing to be like, man, they fine as hell, or we have whatever else in common. I even see people judging whether or not to date someone based on whether if they have an Android or an iPhone, which is completely ridiculous. I don't even understand why that's a thing, but it's a thing. So instead of worrying about that shit, maybe pick up this book, work through some of these prompts, make sure that this is a good fit, so we can avoid some heartache and pain in our lives. But anywho, moving on to our next segment of the podcast, which is the Pay Black Women. One of my favorite things is to as I've heard on one of my other favorite podcasts, a Little Juju podcast, sharing the energy of money with Black women is like top tier for me, number one on the list. So I want to dedicate this episode's Pay Black Women Spotlight to Glamorous Goddess Cosmetics. Glamorous Goddess Cosmetics. So I found out about this company. I went to Circle Center Mall, which is in downtown Indianapolis, and I visited the She Experience, which is an area that is like a hub for all these small um businesses and independent owners. So I went in there and I bought up a lot of stuff, y'all. I bought some gloves from Zuri Boutique. I bought earrings and waist beads from Creative, which is a style in the She Experience. And I bought this beautiful black lipstick, if I do say so myself. I think it looks really nice. My apologies to anybody that is not watching us on YouTube but is listening to this. But the lipstick's popping. So this fabulous lipstick that I'm wearing, I got this from Glamorous Goddess Cosmetics. I'll drop all the details in the show notes so that you guys can take advantage of this lovely beauty opportunity yourselves, and to check out the other products that Glamorous Goddess Cosmetics has for you. So, before we jump into our conversation today, one of the things about me that people probably don't know is that I absolutely love to sing. I'm always singing. So, in the shower, the car, all of that, I am always singing. It's just one of those things that makes me really happy. But I'm not really good at it. So outside of the fact that I enjoy doing it and I love it, one of the things that I love even more than that are singers, and not just singers, but people that can sing, that can really, get into it and bring that emotion out of you. And today, the woman that we're talking to is definitely one of those people, Keiana Whatley. I am so glad to know her and so glad that she was available to be on the show. So Keiana is a woman of many talents. Of many talents. She is a multi-talented, driven, and passionate woman ready to inspire, encourage, and make an impact on the lives of her communities, on the lives of her community, supporters, and fans. So, without further ado, let's jump into it with Keiana Whatley, or as she saved in my phone, Kiki the Songbird.
Okay. Look, formerly known as Kiki Songbird. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay. So, formerly known. So, there has been a transition. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. So, Kiki Songbird, I felt like was putting limits on Keiana Whatley, because Keiana
Okay.
Whatley is more than a singer, right? She's a playwright, an actress, motivational speaker, however God wants to use me in whatever season I'm in. Let's just put it like that. And I
Mm-hmm.
figured that instead of putting a label like Kiki Songbird, introduce yourself to the world as Keiana Whatley, because that's who you want them to see. You want them to know and see Keiana Whatley. So we had to put Kiki Songbird to rest, but she will always be a part of me.
Yes, yes, a part of the multifacetedness that is Kiana Whiteley. So, for people that are, the unfamiliar and the uninitiated. See, I'm making up words and shit. But for those that don't know, basically, who is Kiana Whiteley?
Mm-hmm. Keiana Whatley is, I would say that Keiana Whatley is inspiration. Keiana Whatley is an artist. She is a mother without physical children. She is a healer, um, an all around artist, if you want to sum everything up. But I feel like the root of who Keiana Whatley is inspiration. I like to inspire people to live out their dreams, right?
Yeah, yeah, that is beautiful. That's beautiful. So let's walk it back some. So tell us about the journey to you finding yourself as an artist and a creator and all these things. When did you first realize that this was for you?
Absolutely. So growing up in church, right? Your grandma
Yes.
always has you in the choir and things of that nature. But
Mhm.
when it became serious for me, I would say when I was about 16 years old, I found music as an outlet for me. I remember listening to like Neo Soul, Jill Scott, Chrisette Michelle. And I
Mhm.
remember just being 16 years old, right? Ain't been through nothing really, and think that I've been through a whole bunch of stuff, but haven't went through nothing, but was able to really connect with their words, connect with the feels that they were putting out. So I would say about 16 years old. And what people don't even know is that I didn't start off singing. Like, yes, I did it in the choir, but my first encounter with really getting into arts was playwright when I was 18 years
Wow.
old, right? Well, actually
Okay.
17 years old at Ben Davis High School.
Wow,
I had,
okay, you're a Ben Davis giant. I am too.
I'm a
I'm class of
giant. So
'07.
I gotta wait a minute. I gotta put a disclaimer out there. Wait a
Please
sec.
do. Yes.
I gotta put it. Okay. East side all day, west side by the way, honey. I just went to
Okay.
Ben
Okay.
Davis for high school, but I had to represent for the east side, honey.
All right. All
Yeah.
right. We'll welcome you in. We welcome all. It's all good. We not discriminatory on the west side. I'm a Harville girl. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, so Ben Davis High School, it was my senior year, and I remember the previous year, I just so around Black History Month, right? I just got
Mm-hmm.
tired of the few little quotes that they would put on the intercom. I'm like, wait a minute, y'all got to do more for us, right? So my senior year, we had like this big snowstorm, and I had read a Black History play, and I had brought it to my counselor at the time, and I'm like, hey, I put on this play. I wrote this play, and I want the school to do it for Black History Month. She didn't think
Mm-hmm.
I was serious, right? Until I actually showed her the play. She was like, oh, you're for real, for
Wow.
real. I'm like, yeah, because I need y'all to celebrate us. The little quotes on the intercom is just not gonna cut it. Like, we need to be
Mm-hmm.
celebrated. So yeah, I wrote the production. I got in contact with the theater teacher. The theater teacher helped me put a team together, and we put on a Black History play. And not only did we do it for the month of February, but it actually spilled into the month of March as well. And the English classes had to come watch my Black History play. So,
Wow.
absolutely. So it wasn't singing, is just something that I can do. But the
Mm-hmm.
root of the gift is the words. It's the play production.
Mm.
It's creating the moments and the
Wow.
experiences.
You just said something right there. It's about the words because it's just so many things that's coming up for me right now. Like, one, I think about that upbringing in the church. And I
Mhm.
grew up in the church, and I grew up with a family that did all the activities. So there
Mhm.
was not a moment really that we wasn't in church,
Mhm.
until like years later when we all started, going our own separate ways or whatever.
Right.
But while we were in that thing, we were doing, all the activities. And I felt like when I got older, it gave me a certain level of confidence in trying things because I
Mhm.
already had a safe place to like
There you go.
explore and all of
Right.
that. So I
Mhm.
wonder, did you have that same experience? Because there's a level of boldness that was there to just say, y'all ain't doing enough. I'm gonna write a play, and this is what it's gonna be. So did you have that same kind of experience?
Absolutely. It's that faith, right? It's the faith that's
Yeah,
carrying you through. And then you touched on something, just that personal relationship that, I have with God, knowing that
yeah.
He's not going to leave me nor forsake me.
Mm,
So a little 17-year-old girl was bold, like, y'all not doing us right, but I knew who was on my
yep.
side. So I
Yes.
definitely, relate to you when you say the confidence, the boldness, because I mean, when you know where your help come from, I mean,
Listen,
listen, I
Kiki, we about
mean,
to add Reverend Kiana to the list of talents and skill. For real, for real. So
listen.
I want to also touch on that part of the moment and the theatrics. When I first came to know who you were, it was a video that was produced, and it was like a lady sings the blues type of thing, and
Mhm,
I cannot remember the name of it off the top
mhm,
of my head,
mhm.
but I remember Lakeisha Lorraine was involved.
Yes,
I
Love
want to
and
say
Life
that she shot
Productions.
it.
Shout
Loving
out
Life
Lakeisha.
Productions. Yes, they
Mhm,
shot it.
mhm,
But that was one moment. And then I remember the Queen music video when y'all, it looked like y'all was like on a whole tropical beach somewhere.
mhm,
Like y'all was
mhm,
on a beach and it's all these beautiful black women and everything that I've seen from you. And I remember I took my sister to go and see one of your shows at a theater at the fort. And it was like
okay.
a whole production.
Mhm,
And that is like so in all of your art that I've seen, how you
mhm,
really like capture that moment and bring a full thing together.
mhm,
Why is that so important to you to not just do a visual? It's like, no, this is a whole like experience
mhm,
encapsulated with everything together.
mhm.
Why is that so important?
Because people will remember the experience. They will remember what they felt in that moment. And I feel like it leaves more of a residue when you create a
Mhm.
moment and experience for your audience or for whoever you come in contact with. They may not
Mhm.
even remember your name. And there's a quote, and
Yeah.
don't get me quoting, but they won't remember your name or how you made them feel, or what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. And that is
Yeah,
so
I think
true.
that's Maya
Quote me on that. Is that
Angelou.
Maya? That may
I
be
think it's Maya
Maya.
Angelou.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Mama Maya, if I quoted you wrong, but it's so true. That
Yeah.
people are not going to remember what you said. Hell, they're not even going to remember your name, but they are going to remember how they felt. And that's why
Mhm.
when I do perform and when I do present something, I have to do it with a spirit of excellence so that person who is experiencing it can feel that. They can feel that power
Yeah.
behind it. So,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And we just mentioned Maya Angelou. I know she's an inspiration to so many of us Black girls that are into words and creation and things like that. Who are some of the people that inspire and motivate you, or just some of the things in general that inspire and motivate you as an artist?
um, people that inspire me, oh my God, that list is so long. But just
Mm-hmm.
to throw out a few people, places, or things, I would say people, Ella Fitzgerald. I've always been in love with
Mm,
her voice. Billie Holiday, like neo soul singers, of course, Jill Scott. My mom had me listening to all of that.
yeah.
Things that inspire me, I would say all different forms of art, whether if it's a painting, whether if it's a sculpture, just art in general inspires me. Places, I love being connected with nature. I love being outside. Just my scenery can inspire me, no matter what type of scenery it is, just being outside, people watching, and being connected with the earth. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm inspired by many of those same things. I recently said it out loud to someone to admit it, but I'm also inspired by heartache. So
No, listen, that's a
strangely
real
enough,
thing.
it is strangely enough, because well, everybody knows, like, I write different things, but I've written poetry since I was a little kid, and
Mhm.
a lot of my poetry, when I hit a certain age and started like falling in love and all this shit, whatever
Mhm.
that means, right? I started being inspired by the fact that, like, my heart would get broken, and I was like, okay, I need to figure something out because I don't always want to be inspired by that. Like,
Okay.
I think it's a good thing to be able to take it and flip it,
It
but I
is.
just want to get your thoughts on that.
That is actually a good thing because you've learned how to transmute your energy. So
That's a good way of thinking about that.
yeah, so
Yeah.
first of all, a lot of my songs came from heartbreak.
Mm,
To a lot of my poems, because you're open, right? You're vulnerable,
yeah.
and you're looking for a space to be able to express yourself and heal. So
Mm-hmm.
even though the heartbreak was the catalyst, you expressing yourself and sharing your poetry and inspiring other people became the ending, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yes, my I get it. Your life
Yeah.
experiences, no matter good or bad, they push you to get creative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because even when I'm having a bad day, right, I like to paint on my earrings. I like to express myself. It's the
Yeah.
catalyst, girl.
Yes, and that's so real. It is because, there is an opportunity for that stuff to really, like, shut you down
Mm-hmm.
and have you not want to do anything whatsoever. So being able to use it for something, productive, is a
Hello.
good thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So on that note, you have a new single out, Emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about the story behind that, as
Mm-hmm.
much as you feel comfortable sharing,
Absolutely.
and just kind of where you see your voice headed, as
Mm-hmm.
an artist now.
Absolutely. So, the single Emotions, well, first of all, since we are bringing up Dear Love, I have to give a huge shout out to Teddy. That
Yes,
yeah,
yes, and I
he,
was hesitant to mention Teddy because
hmm
I know that there are a
hmm
lot of people that mourn him, and but y'all had a very special connection,
hmm
that was very inspirational for me as an outside looking in.
hmm
So I did not know how comfortable you would be talking about him, so I was very
hmm
hesitant to bring it up,
hmm
but yeah.
No, absolutely. He was the executive producer for Dear Love. And he always told me, he said, Key, I want to produce a female artist, in the city. And so I was just like, okay, well, you can be my first I could be your first project. And
Hmm.
so it was a really great experience. It's like he pushed me, I pushed him, it was love, hate, hate,
What was
love.
that like with the pushing?
Oh
I
my
want to know. There are
gosh.
so many things I want to know, and then I'll share my experience with Teddy later. But there's so many things I just want to know.
Absolutely. So, my dear friend, when he wants something, he's going to get it done. And
Okay.
sometimes, and I'm the same way. We're both A
Hmm.
type personalities, right?
Yeah.
So, whenever he had a vision, he was like, this is what the vision is. This is what I wanted to do. And I'm like, Ted, no, I want to do it this way. So, we had to learn how to submit to one another at the appropriate
Mm.
time. And once we learned our flow, we started creating some good music. You know what I mean? It was because of him that I was able to take my music to the next level, because it was so hard for me to find my sound, because like you said, I know how to sing, or I
Yeah.
know how to be soulful. And when you do have a wide range of what you can do, it is hard to find your sound. But through working with him, I was able to pinpoint, that's the vibe. That's the
Mm.
vibe that I want to do. You know what I mean? So it's more of like a trap soul, still soulful, but you got a little hip hop in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He pushed me to be bold, and he pushed me to not be so confined in the box and not be too perfect, but allow people to see me in my vulnerable state. That's where
Mm.
emotions came from, because a lot of people, when they see me, they're like, Key, you're so inspiring, you're so inspirational, and it seemed like you always got it together. And I'm like, well, God bless you, because baby, it's a struggle every day,
You
honey.
make the struggle look good as fuck
Baby.
though, because you be put together and everything, and it's like it's a level of elegance with it
Hmm.
too. But
Hmm.
there's something to that, so now we know, like it, it took something to get
It
there.
took something to get there, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And so, and I just, it's just kind of like my commitment to myself to present myself in the best way that I can. You know, I'm not perfect, but
Hmm.
I'm going to represent. So
Yeah.
that's what keeps me, quote unquote, keeping it together, is representing for the women that look like me. But
Yeah.
working with Ted, it was a great experience. You know, it was very tragic. Just hearing about his passing, I felt like it was like a piece of me that was ripped away, because I'm like, I just knew that, you know, if when not if, but when I make it to the Grammys, like my homie's gonna be right there, and we gonna talk
Yeah.
about how, we recorded at the house, and how we got into it, and then we made up over Marlowe, a bottle of Marlowe. So just knowing that I won't have him in the 3D, it breaks my heart. But this experience has humbled me very much so, to treasure my community and the people that I'm connected to, and just to make sure that I'm present.
Hmm.
Okay, that I'm
Yeah.
present a little bit more. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's my homie. I have no choice but to keep going, because he believed in me so much. And the reason why me and Teddy's relationship was so special is because he's seen me. He's seen a lot of things that people couldn't see past. He saw through,
Mm.
and he was like, Key, I see you. Because some people take my assertiveness as probably arrogant, but he's like, no, I love the fact that you like to take care of business. And he praised the things. My God, I almost got emotional. Sorry.
It's okay. It is okay.
So sorry, girl.
Yeah,
But
no, you're fine.
he praised the things that people didn't like about me, or rubbed them
Mm.
the wrong way. And so that's why our relationship was so special. My type of personality, I've always stuck out like a sore thumb, because I've always had a unique personality. So to find those people, even like you, Ebony, who see you, you treasure those type of relationships and
Yeah.
connections.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the more that we go along this whole life journey, you realize that connections like that are very precious, and it's not something that you run into every day. Especially when you're trying to make shit happen.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it can really be uh hard to find, okay, where are my people? Where are the people that I can actually grow and
We're
elevate
my
with?
people. We're
Yes.
my people. That's so important, sis.
Yes, so
Whew.
important, so important. And it's so interesting. So I met Teddy randomly like some years ago, and we got coffee, and like nothing came of it afterwards. It was just like a get to know you. And I was like, that was fine, whatever. And then I saw him later, and he was like at that Vibe on Wednesday, and he was like in full Mac mode. And it was so funny because like he wasn't necessarily trying to crack on me. He was just being polite. But I was like, we've already met. And it was just kind of like, whatever, just moving on. So then, like,
Mhm.
fast forward, like, I would see him around. It was all love, like, he's cool or whatever. And then, shortly before he passed, I went to First Fridays in Fountain Square, and I'm hanging out with some friends, and I saw him, and he was with like Sleepy and
Mhm.
Ashley and a bunch of other people. It's like a whole group a
Mhm.
group of them
Mhm.
that was just like mobbing through Fountain Square, and I was with a small group of people, and we just saw each other, just like having a good time. And then he texted me and said, did I want to go and get something to eat? Like a couple weeks later. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? So we go to Kuma's Corner and we eat. And it was just like, it was funny because he was like, when I first met you, like, I just thought your personality was so dry. So that's why, it was whatever. And I'm like, that's fine. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just reserved because I know you like that. I know how much to like really be, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
who I am. So I'm
Yeah.
just chilling. But
Mm-hmm.
long story short, it was just a really beautiful day. Like we took a
Mm-hmm.
walk and just was talking about things, and he was showing me some artwork
Mm-hmm.
from his projects that was
Mm-hmm.
getting ready to come out, and it's the one where he's like in the pyramid shape, and it's like kind of in space
Okay.
or whatever. It was
Mm-hmm.
like a illustration,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just really cool. And then the very last time we saw each other was a little while after that at a garden party,
Okay.
and he was a whole vibe at garden
I
party.
already know.
It was deep because he was like on a wave that nobody was even on. It's just like his energy was just like different, but like in a
Mm-hmm.
very good way.
Absolutely.
And I was just like, damn, like it was just cool. And he said some stuff to me that I just really like brushed off, like he at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was telling him, I sometimes I deal with social anxiety, so I'm
Mm.
like mad nervous sometimes when I
Mm-hmm.
go to places and it's a lot of people. And I
Mm-hmm.
felt comfortable just kind of whispering that to him because he was like by me and it's him. So he was
Mm-hmm.
just like cool. And he was like, I don't even believe in that.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
You know, one thing about Teddy,
mm-hmm.
like he's gonna pull whatever it is that you need to work on. He's gonna
Mm-hmm.
pull that out of you. He's
Yes.
gonna be brutally honest, whether if you like it or not. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so funny because you're gonna learn a lot. I've learned a lot of lessons, you know what I mean, from him just
Mm-hmm.
through conversation and his perspective. And it's just like,
Yeah.
some stuff may have pissed me off, but then like a couple months, I'm like,
Hmm.
hey, you remember when you told me that I
Yep.
felt you on that? Like, so
Yep.
that's his personality. That was his
Yes.
personality. So,
Yeah,
yep.
yep. And it's crazy because when you say that about learning so much from those conversations, like when I learned that he passed, I was shocked and I couldn't get it together for like a minute. And
Mm.
after I kind of like settled down, I just replayed like every single thing in my head, like over and over and over again, because I was like, damn, he was dropping all these gems. And over the course of like,
So
when I
many
tell you that
gems.
time frame was so short, it was like this time frame, we were like, chit chatting or whatever and getting to know each other. And then like, boom,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, he
Right.
was gone. And I was like, what
Mm-hmm.
the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
crazy, but so many, life lessons that I'm just like, okay, for the rest of my life, I will never forget these
Right.
conversations because it really like
Mm-hmm.
shifted so many things in my life.
Absolutely. And that's why
Yeah.
in the emotions video, I had the teddy
Mm-hmm.
bear just representing him and his
Yep.
legacy because like I will never forget my dear friend. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
he was just one that type of person that you can't forget, you know what I mean.
Yes.
He will always have a place in my heart, and I know that a lot of people have different belief systems, but although he's not with me in the physical, the 3D, I believe that energy never dies, so I know that
Yeah.
he is with me in spirit. So yeah, big homie. So yeah.
Yes, yes. And I
Yeah.
love that you hit on that about different belief systems.
Hmm.
What is your understanding of faith and God at this point in
Hmm.
your life?
Absolutely. I would say that my base is Christianity, but however, I'm more spiritual than
Mm-hmm.
religious.
Yeah.
I don't put God in a box. How can you put the creator of this universe in a box and say that this is all God is?
Yep.
Um, so, my belief is there is a God, creator, source. Um, Above all, and whatever that energy is or how people comprehend it or translate it, I know that there's a God. because
Yeah.
I feel very connected with the creator. Just even being outside, it's just like I know that I know that I know, like
Mm,
I'm connected with source, with God, like in my spirit. And I can't explain that for everybody because my
yeah.
experiences have been different. But yeah, very close with spirit, very
Mhm.
close with God. Love
Yeah.
God, and
Yeah.
unashamed to say that. So,
Yes, I mean, absolutely. It's like going back to what you said earlier when you know where your help comes from.
hmm
Um, I'm very much on the same journey, having grown up in church. But even then I always felt like, I love the things that I'm hearing, that I'm
hmm
learning. Jesus is the
hmm
way for me.
hmm
But then also I'm just like, there are so many other things that I'm
hmm
interested
hmm
in and that I feel very led toward and very
connected to.
connected to,
hmm
absolutely,
hmm
when it comes to this spiritual thing.
hmm
And I'll say during all this crazy pandemic shit that we living through,
Okay, listen,
um
because the
that
doors
has
of the
been
church were
it.
closed, honey.
They were, and I'm like, okay, so what is it that we doing? But it was so funny because that was one of the first things that I went to. I was like, okay, this is time for me to dig deep
And get
into my
connected.
spiritual practice. Yes.
Yes. Yes,
Yes, yes,
honey.
yes.
Yes, honey.
Yeah.
And it just showed me because what's so crazy is because I've always felt close to God, but I felt
Mhm.
like during the pandemic, I got even closer because
Yeah.
usually I like to get that connection, through church and I got a relationship with God outside of church, but it's just like,
Mhm.
when the doors of the church were closed, it's just like, okay, Holy Spirit, Father God, it's me and you. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? So yeah, I definitely feel you on that. Like we had to dig deep because, honey, this pandemic here was a mess and a
Yes.
blessing at the same time.
Yeah, so
And a
tell me about
blessing,
some of your blessings out of this crazy shit.
girl. So just the fact of me starting my little business, Kiki's Closet, getting
Mhm.
involved with my
You
health
said
and
little business. Like, let's talk about just
you know
really quick blurb about the business.
Okay, so in the pandemic, I started Kiki's Closet. Where at first, okay, so let me back it on up. So I started with total life changes, just getting on my fitness kick and things of that
Mhm.
nature. And I love the way I was connecting with people, helping them get healthy, and the products were working for me, and then they were working for other people. I'm like, oh, this is what's up. We can't
Mhm.
go anywhere. You might as well get fit and make sure that you're healthy. And
Yeah.
then that transpired to, okay, well, let me sell these sunglasses. And then I started to see that people were really rocking with me on the sunglasses. I said, okay, let me go ahead and get legit. Let me go ahead and open up Kiki's Closet. And that's when I was selling accessories, purses. I had made t-shirts. Basically, they were divine light t-shirts, and they
Mhm.
had the peace definition and healing in progress, things of that nature. So within this pandemic, it showed me some more things that I wanted to do with my life, and that was entrepreneurship, right? And
Mhm.
finding ways to connect with people. So yeah.
Yeah, that is awesome. I love that, that has been a blessing for me too this time. So I had gotten an LLC a couple of years ago, but never really did anything with it. And I'm like, okay, well, we got all this time. I ain't really doing nothing outside of work. Like
Mm-hmm.
working, of course, that's a thing, and like different community serving things. But like just personally, I'm like, okay, social time is just like
Right.
whatever. Because I'm only gonna go to so many Zoom birthday parties, like
Right.
for real. I'm only gonna do that so many times
Okay.
before I'm
For
like,
real.
fuck this, I'm
I
done
know.
and I'm not interested. So yeah, being able to have that time to really just tap in and try out different things is just it is a blessing. It
Mm-hmm.
is,
Yeah.
because when else are we gonna get this time? You
Exactly.
know?
And it kind of made you slow down,
Yeah.
plan things a little more effectively, right?
Mm-hmm.
And really
Yeah.
think some things through. Like, is this what I really want to do? Where
Yeah.
am I at in this season? And what do
Yeah.
I want? It gave you that time to think. So,
Absolutely.
blessing and a
Absolutely.
curse. More of a
Yes.
blessing.
For sure, for sure. So I'm gonna shift gears a little bit. So when this episode of the podcast comes out, it's gonna be around February and around Valentine's Day, or as some people call it, Single Awareness Day. Depends on how you decide to observe it. Uh, I
Oh, God. My God.
listen. I
Ugh,
Yeah, yeah. So to
ugh.
go ahead, take you a sip.
My tea,
Um,
honey.
Yes. So you write about love. You're a loving person. But you also live in this world just like I am, everybody else is, where shit is just kind of like, what is this? I don't know
It's
what we're doing
ghetto.
here.
It's the hot mess, and
Yes. So let's get ratchet for a second. Let's talk about the ghetto and the hot mess of love, sex, and dating in the modern age.
girl.
So
Uh,
are you what is your life like when it comes to those things right now? I'm gonna just get in your business a little bit.
girl, ain't no damn business to get into, cause girl, um, no, very, very much so single.
Uh-huh.
Um, I do have hopes to be in union, with a soulmate and somebody that I can
Yeah.
grow with. But we're dealing with in a world that is like social media driven, and
Yeah.
it's really hard for people to connect. It's we're dealing in a very shallow generation, and I would say also a misguided generation. Like the hope for love and wanting to have, that stability, that family, for the right reasons aren't really
Mm.
displayed anymore. It's just like
Mm.
a lot of people want to be in relationships just to be like, I got a person, versus wanting to be in a relationship to build a legacy. You know what I mean? To have purpose
Yeah.
together. It's just so washed down and shallow.
Mm.
I mean, and I blame it on social media, but I also blame it on us because, we got to have enough power and control to step outside of social media and be able to connect with people
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Because it is a definite struggle when you think about how we are today. So with the apps, like have you tried any of the apps? I've tried multiple and I've deleted them
again.
all
Girl,
because I'm
I
like, I don't
deleted
know what
those
the hell
apps.
this is.
Girl,
Yeah.
because they're trifling and ghetto, and I'm just gonna call it what it is,
It
honey.
is.
But
Yeah.
you try to change it up. You try to I created a profile a couple times, but I was just like,
Mhm.
this ain't the way. um
What is
Lord,
the wildest thing that ever happened to you on one of these apps? Let's just trade some war stories.
I mean, honey, just not hi, how you doing, but just a picture of your penis. I'm like, yeah, you know what?
Right out the gate.
Didn't I
Oh
tell you it's trifling and
no.
ghetto in a
That
mess,
is trifling
girl?
and ghetto. Oh,
Listen,
that is
stop. You
disgusting.
know, just you meet guys who are like kind of arrogant. The conversation is not there. First of all, I'm an intellectual person, so your
Yes.
conversation has to be on point for me to even show you any time of day. But
Mhm.
just coming across men that didn't know how to hold a conversation, was more into physical, versus really trying to get to know me, immature, and there are some guys that were just honest, they're just looking to date multiple women, and they will tell you that. So depending on what your vibe is, you gonna have to go with
Mhm.
what you know, baby. But I ain't
Exactly.
with all that. I ain't with all that. But
You got to know for sure if if that's your thing or not.
right,
Because if it
right.
ain't, don't get your feelings hurt.
But yeah, so I'm glad you brought this up, Ebony, for real, because I had that season where, I was turning 30. Most of actually all of my friends are married. Some of
Mhm.
them have kids, and I'm just like, dang, I'm alone. The celebrations
Yes.
that I have, it's just me and my fur baby and a glass of wine. And I started to really feel like I was up against time. And then I was just like, no, nah, Key. You keep loving on you, you keep working on you, and you will
Mhm.
attract your soulmate. So I feel like I felt more free when I let go of trying to control my love life and just let it become more organic. Um, because people will waste your time.
Yes. Yes, 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 they
And I ain't got
will.
time to waste. I lost a friend in July. My time, remember I told you I learned my lesson, is
Mhm.
very valuable.
Yes.
Who sent you? Why are you here? And what do you want? Out
Yes.
the gate.
Out the
Out the
gate,
gate.
because like you said, time is very, very precious. And in addition to our time being precious, our energy is precious.
Come on.
So when we are expending it in ways that really are not to our greatest good and like
Right.
causing a detriment to ourselves,
Right.
that's when it starts to hit like, okay, yeah, they trifling and they ghetto and they doing whatever they doing, but also like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, why did
Right.
I think that was a good idea?
Right.
Like, I had a situation like that not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a few months ago, and basically I had like decided that I was gonna text somebody I hadn't talked to in a really long time,
Mm-hmm.
because the way that things ended was not really like good. And I'm
Okay.
like, okay, I'm in like one of those sentimental moods. Like, maybe there was something there. Like, let me just
Mm-hmm.
try to see. Horrible decision.
Mm.
Horrible decision. Like, it was almost like the Lord used this person to really wake me up to
Mm.
where my focus was misaligned when it came to the
There you
love
go.
thing.
Right.
And it was easy for me to be like, man, he's such an asshole. But it was like, also, okay, yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
that was not where you were supposed to be. And that's not
Right.
what you were supposed to be doing. Like,
Mm-hmm. I love
and
that.
it was a wake up call for real. So like ever
Mm-hmm.
since then, I've just been like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
what is it that I actually really want
There you
out
go.
of a mate and out of a relationship? I started
Mm-hmm.
reading the five love languages for single.
Listen, she said I'm about to get educated on this. I feel you.
I needed it because I was like, okay, clearly there is some things for me to learn and
There you
some
go.
things for me to mature at when it
Mm.
comes to this whole dating thing. Because like you, I have hope. I would
Mm-hmm.
like to be in a union with someone that
Absolutely.
is for me,
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. But I was like, man, something gotta give, because
Right.
this the way
Right.
this is going is just not
I
working
love what
out.
you said when you said, what did I do to, or you said something like, what made me think that this is okay? I love that you
Yes,
said that because we have to take accountability, for our actions and being firm on walking away from things that no longer serves us.
absolutely.
And that's the biggest lesson that I've had to learn, especially with dating. If it's not fruitful, if it's not serving me, we're not backtracking, we are moving ahead. You know what I mean? Because obviously the red flags were there. You know what I mean? So we got to get serious about moving forward and being okay with those boundaries and keeping those healthy boundaries, because
Mhm.
obviously they're there to protect our energy. Because you said something so important, sis. Our energy is so precious, honey. When you
Yes.
meditate, when you take care of yourself, when you're going to the gym, when you get in your bag, when you just period, when you are
Mhm.
whole, period, people see that and they want to leech off of that. No, my energy is
No.
valuable. What the
Yes.
hell do you want? Because it's just not gonna be a pick me up. Sorry.
No.
Good
No,
night.
definitely.
I love saying that. Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye. Not interested. So
For
now that we
real.
done talked about all the raggedy shit we don't want, what are some things that you are looking forward to when it comes to, welcoming these things into your life, whether it be like self-love or through friends or with that
Mhm.
significant other?
I would just say, all in general, what I'm looking for in life is just a level up. So
Mm,
love, more peace, more abundance, more laughter, I'm looking to continue to raise the standards higher and higher and higher without feeling bad about it.
Yeah.
Just leveling up,
Yep.
being okay with those standards. Um, what do I want? I guess with my friends, I would say just an equal give and take, a good support system. What I would like in a union is basically the same thing, and just the understanding that I'm serious about building a legacy and changing the world. I got an
Yes.
S on
Yes.
my chest, baby. I need scholarships. Look, we need programs. We got to get these kids educated. No, for real. Like
Yes.
I gotta be in union with somebody that has that conviction to really make a difference and give back, and somebody that knows himself, knows God. You know what I mean? Because if you can't lead yourself, you definitely are not gonna be able to lead an alpha woman like me.
Say
But
that.
for real, but somebody that's just ready to put in the work, right?
Yeah.
Put in the work.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I am believing with you for all of those things, and a cherry on top, a little extra razzle
Okay, girl, I'll
dazzle
take the cherry.
to that. Yes, yes. So, as we look forward, to the rest of the year and whatnot, what are some things that's coming up for Kiana Whiteley, and how can people connect with you and engage with your movement?
Absolutely. Well, they can connect on my website, KeianaWhatley.com. That's just my first and last name.com. I move in silence, but I'm just gonna give a little bit. Um, People can look forward to hearing my story this year,
Mm,
because a lot of people want to know my story, and I'm in a place as I'm going through my healing journey where I'm ready to share that, because I think that's gonna help a lot of women, just a lot of people, from the areas that I come from.
yes, yes,
So,
I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm a person that believes very strongly in the power of testimony
hmm
and the transformative power of telling your truth and sharing your truth with the world. Because we all get, like you said earlier, we all get inspired by that, and it helps us to know that we're not alone in our
hmm
pursuit to want to strive for better, no matter what our present circumstances are. So excited for you. So excited for everything you have going on. Thank you for spending this time with me today.
absolutely. Thank you. I love this little podcast, girl. You got going on. No, thank
Thank
you for having
you.
me. This was nice, Ebony. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes. So I got one last question for you. I meant to ask this at the beginning, but we're gonna ask it at the end. It's still gonna be good.
Okay.
What's good with you right now? Like what's the most good thing going on with you right
Mm, babe, my peace,
now? Mm,
sweetie. I got peace that surpasses all understanding. That's good. That's good. Enough. Yeah, it's my peace.
mm.
It is my peace, and it's so peaceful to the point where it can't be compromised. Not gonna compromise my peace because it just feels so good.
Yes, yes. It's a
Yeah.
perfect note to end us on. Thank you
hmm
again, Kiana Watley, for everything.
You are
Appreciate
welcome.
you and looking forward to what the world, the future has in store for everything going on with you. So thank
Yes,
you
yes.
again.
Same for you, sis. Blessings.
Blessings. See you.
All
I'll
right.
talk to you soon.
See you.
So thank you again to Kiana for being on the show. Um, so inspired by her. I will have her website link in the show notes so that you can go online and find out about all things Kiana Whiteley and connect with her and the things that she has coming up. Also, be sure to like and subscribe and connect with me online. You can find out more. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Ebony the Writer. The show page on Facebook and YouTube is What's Good with Ebony Chappelle. And you can also just check out my website, ebonychappelle.com, for more. As always, have a great time and a positive life, y'all. Peace.